Welcome everybody to the Homestead 200 for another race here at the HTL Hammer Down Truck Series at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. My name is Eli Sasak. I'm joined here tonight by Ryan Pannell for yet another good, hopefully fascinating race here. Ryan, how are you feeling as we move away from Kansas and down south into Florida?
Feeling good. Excited for tonight's race. I think it's going to be a great race. This track is really, really fun to race in these trucks, so I'm looking forward to it. Got a little bit of new aero package with this new season update as well, so we'll have to see how that affects these drivers tonight as well.
Yeah, of course, new season update dropped today for the iRacing platform, and along with that came aerodynamic updates with these trucks. So you'll see a bit different racing, some different properties, namely less downforce, and once those cars get dirtier in the turns, they kind of push up a little bit more side force. So we're going to see some interesting racing, maybe something that it's going to be a bit unpredictable, one may say, but we're seeing some of these trucks on the track right now, a full nighttime set track here, completely cooled out here in the southeast of Florida. Looking good, especially after last week's race at Kansas, which was quite a good one. We had an exciting finish, and hopefully we'll get another one here tonight.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's another one of those tracks where it's a multi-groove race. You know, you can run the bottom, you can run the top. The top's going to have, I think the top's going to have the most speed, longer in a run, short run speed, you know, probably going to be on the bottom. But I'm just kind of looking forward to see how the aero package changes, how these trucks can run the top here at Homestead, because as we know, the top usually the way to go, but we'll see what happens here tonight at Homestead.
One thing noticing a lot in practice here is the cars are getting really loose off the corners. That was one thing I saw notice, is that the cars are significantly looser on the entry and exit. As we see Joshua Gaiman get there, gained a little bit loose. I don't know if he was trying to enter the pits or what, but he taps the inside wall just a little bit, and that's something we are going to see, is some of these trucks get loose off those corners.
Yeah, there's been several drivers that have definitely struggled on corner exit, especially at a turn two. Before we went live, we watched like 4 or 5 different trucks spin out almost the same exact way. So definitely a little bit dicey coming out of two. We'll have to see how it works when you get all 33 of these trucks all in a pack. You know, they really haven't had a huge pack here in practice yet. So you put 33 of them in a row or in a line, it might be pretty wild out here.
Yeah, looking at the 39, Justin Gibbs looks like he got a little bit loose off the corner, but a lot of these drivers are probably just trying to learn and see what this car does after the aerodynamic changes. And Homestead's quite an interesting race to have this first edition of it, as we see Rodney Ayers there hit the wall just a tad bit coming off the corner. But as I said, most of these drivers are just trying to see what the car feels like, and what it's going to do when those race time conditions come for 83 laps here at Homestead tonight.
Yeah, it's like, you know, we've talked before in previous races. You know, in practice, you got to push the truck as hard as you can. You know, if you wreck or you spin out, it's not going to affect anything. So do it here in practice. That way you know exactly the limits of what you can do in the race. And then the only difference is you're going to have 32 other trucks around you. So the margins are very, very slim in the race. But right at 3 minutes left in practice, and John Hagan, no surprise, on top of the board so far, Gaiman in second. Pretty good practice session so far.
Of course, looking at Martin Roberg right now in sixth, he's actually done the most amount of laps on track with 70 in about the hour of practice we have had. He's putting in work to make sure he gets his car dialed and is comfortable with that 37 machine for the race and for qualifying, which will happen in just under 2.5 minutes. Seeing a nice little pack of cars here. Also, one thing I saw was that these cars have a strong draft and are faster on these straightaways due to the decreased downforce So we're going to have to see what happens as we have this thing going on once again. I feel like this is the third week in a row.
Tradition lives on, lives strong. Oh, and it's ruined. The tradition is ruined. Hey, it's a lot harder for them to stay together because they are so loose coming out of corner exit. But you were talking about Martin Roberg running about 70 laps in this hour practice session. So theoretically, Eli, that means this race will be over in an hour. But I'm not crossing my fingers.
Hopefully. But I mean, we'll have to see, and it's up to these drivers to dictate that. Nice little Dale Earnhardt inspired paint scheme there from the 3 of Lilac Zier, but it's on a Ford, which is cursed in its own beautiful way. The 72 Tyler Rush coming out. I mean, I'm just mainly looking and seeing how these trucks are behaving with the new physics, and see that 3 coming in to make a pit stop. Just barely looks like got it under in time for the pit road limit. But I'm just interested in how these cars react with one another once we get going in the race. Mainly, I feel like that's one of the key takeaways for tonight.
Yeah, that's going to be the main thing. I mean, again, we've seen some bigger packs out here in practice, but obviously not all 34 of them together. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, you talked about the 3 truck being on a Ford. I mean, can you imagine someone actually painted that on a Ford? Like, I'm a huge Ford guy. I love Ford, but there's some things you just don't put on a Ford, and that's one of them.
It feels like an unwritten rule of NASCAR, much like it is some like the unwritten rules of baseball or other sports. Seeing a car get loose off the corner. That is the 8 car of Steven Oberstadt, who takes a few hits to that wall and looks like maybe some damage. So he'll park it, but no matter, as the hour has elapsed for practice, and we're about to be hopping into our qualifying session quite shortly here. What are you expecting these drivers to do in qualifying?
Well, I would think the bottom, but obviously I did talk to a few drivers before the race started, and they actually turned really fast times on the top. Oh, and it's daytime, so that changes everything because now it's not night. So I'm thinking probably on the bottom, but I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where they decide to run their fast laps.
Yeah, track temp definitely jumped up a little bit. It's still at later hour in race as far as the in-game time goes, 6 p.m. Sorry, so looking at a 91-degree track temperature as we're seeing these cars start to roll out of the pits for their qualifying laps.
Yeah, I'm just really curious to see if drivers are going to run the top or the bottom. And it may be split. We may see some run top, some run bottom, but I'm just interested to see what they decide to do.
Now looking at John Hagan right now, by far and away the fastest runner last week. We'll have to see what he does this week when it comes to his qualifying run, which has started. See him using that top lane, at least in 1 and 2. We'll have to see if that changes as he comes off the banking onto the straightaway down towards 3 and 4, and he's going low for 3 and 4, so using maybe a bit of a mixed strategy. Did both turns, different lines.
That's interesting. I mean, obviously he's fast, so he knows what he's doing. I saw a couple other trucks using the bottom in 1 and 2 and in 3 and 4, so I guess it's just whatever you're comfortable with, that's what they're doing.
Yeah, that lap was going to put John Hagan pull a 32.9. Only Byron Jones is the only other truck to penetrate that 33-second barrier and put his lap time down into the 32s. Blake Henderson completing his lap, seeing a lot of these times coming now. Martin Roberg saying 3rd currently in qualifying. And looking at John Odie now on the access road, starting his out lap before he gets into his fast lap.
Yeah, and I watched the 51 wrecked it off turn 2. This was a few minutes ago. I think that was on his lap. Wow, Connor Morse jumps to the top of the board.
just barely beating out John Hagan at 32.92 over a 32.93. Looking at the 3 now on her lap currently, I believe. Not quite. Coming around to start it now, I should say, is that 3 Ford Goodwrench truck. That just sounds horrible. But coming down in 1, taking a little bit of a middle lane in this truck.
Yeah, it's a little bit different line. Most people were either all the way on the bottom or all the way up at the top. So kind of interesting to see that line. Maybe it'll get her some speed. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll have to see. She's still using that middle line going towards the high side, and I'm kind of surprised she didn't get loose off the corner, but she's going to come around to finish her lap now. It's going to be a 32.98, which is going to put her 3rd on the board here in qualifying.
Yeah, and only 24 trucks have recorded a lap so far. So I know, like I said, I did see a couple trucks that wrecked out of turn 2, so probably won't have their laps count. So, but we probably still have a few more. It looks like the 98 maybe out on track right now.
98, one of those who is coming around to start his qualifying lap. Well, we'll have to see what Greg Pillar can do in this Dr. Pibb scheme. That all just is not right.
Yeah, that doesn't seem right at all.
As a Dr. Pepper enjoyer, I mean, come on. I can't do that, and I'm sure Austin Mongold is reeling at the sight of this car as well, but nonetheless, the 98 coming down to turn 3, taking that high side, and not quite hitting the wall, getting quite close, but still able to keep his lap going. We'll have to see what kind of lap time he sets here. It's going to look like a 33.68. Putting him at the back of the field as for the start of tonight's race. Now looking at the 81 of Joshua Sosi in the Hello Kitty pink Chevrolet, and he puts it 5th on the board. So a good lap from the 81 truck there. And qualifying is about to come to an end here at Homestead. Connor Morse, the young driver, taking home pole position here at Homestead-Miami. See the sun dip a little bit lower in the background here in Florida as these trucks going to start to grid up for 2 pace laps before we get going green. Why don't we take a look at your starting grid for tonight as we see the cars start to load in. Row 1, Connor Morse taking home the pole in the 89 truck, and John Hagan in the 88 right next to him in 2nd. The 3 of Lilac Zier in 3rd. The 00 of Byron Jones in 4th on row 2. The 81 of Joshua Sosi and the 37 of Martin Roberg on row 3. The 6 of Pacey Wygent and the 39 of Justin Gibbs on row 4. Chloe Fraser in the 13 and Christopher Pendell in the 16 on row 5. DJ Trout in the 11 and Dale Markowski in the 83 on row 6. Bobby Blowers and Kyler McCarthy, row 7. David Smil Jr. and Lane Myers, row 8. Then Tyler Rush and Caleb Carter on row 9. Blake Henderson in the 25 and the 8 of Steven Oberstadt take up row 10. The 33 of Joshua Gaiman and the 18 of Lily Peltier Sharp take up row 11. Row 12 belongs to the 35 of Casey Ellis and the 78 of Richard Odie. Dean Clavitt and Rance Lewin on row 13. Greg Pillar and Jaden Bingaman on row 14. Carmen, Sienna, and Jimmy Metch on row 15. Colin Flynn, Austin Mongold, and Carmen Sienna were on row 50. Now Jimmy Mensch and Colin Flynn on row 16. Rodney Ayers and Selena Thompson on row 17, bringing up the back of the field here for the Homestead 200. And I can't believe I skipped over Austin Mongold.
Yeah, he's gonna be upset. He's already upset because he got to look at a Dr. Pibb truck in front of him. So now he's gonna be extra upset.
I'm sure he's going to yell at me on Monday before the Cup race. So considering he is one of my drivers in that series, so I can wait for that as these trucks start to pull off the pit lane and start their 2 pace laps around Homestead-Miami Speedway, waiting to go green for the Homestead 200. Seeing a nice variety of cars, and of course, topic of discussion, something key to look for is how these cars, well, trucks rather, will interact with each other on the track with the new aerodynamic update. We're going to see a lot of that on this initial start and any restarts, and as these cars become closer or more distant rather as the race goes on.
Yeah, my guess is I'm guessing we see at least one truck upside down at some point during this race. Just watching in practice, I think it might happen, especially with all of them so close together, but that's just my my guess for tonight's race.
34 cars will take the green. Carmen Sienna might have missed the grid time. It looks like she's on the pits still, so she will be starting from the pits, and I believe we did have a penalty from last week that I should probably read out. Jaden Bingaman will have EOL at the start of this race, I believe. I haven't seen an appeal for that, so I assume that will be correct, as one lights are out on the pace truck, so that means 1 to go here until we get green here for the Homestead 200. These trucks coming around in turns 3 and 4. Connor Morris with control of the pack over John Hagan in the 88. The pace truck pulls off and they go on green, and we're off and away for the Homestead 200 here in the HTL Hammer Down Truck Series. And looks clean so far through the field. John Hagan, though, gain out to an early lead over the 89 as we're seeing both lanes used up here. Looking at the 00 of Byron Jones on that low side, while John Hagan and Connor Morris take the high side. Coming down into turn 1 for after our first lap completed, seeing a lot of cars spread out, and we're going to start to see how that update affects these trucks as they go farther on in the race.
Yeah, really good racing so far. It looked like there was a little bit of issue right at the start near the back. I couldn't see. I think it was the 51 and the 17 involved. They're both showing on pit road right now, so not sure what happened there, but other than that, really great restart so far.
I did hear the 51 have a complaint on the radio, not quite sure what it was about. Maybe he got hit or something, that 51 of Selena Thompson, so we'll have to see as we're taking a look at the cursed car, the 3 in the middle of the opening pack here in 4th, fighting with the 37 of Martin Roberg, as we got a little bit more intense action behind them on board now with, I believe this is the 39 of Justin Gibbs behind the 6 of Pacey Wadgen, and the 81 of Joshua Sosi right in front of them. And you can kind of see how these cars are being affected, and we're probably going to see it there. A few cars maybe getting a little bit loose off the corner, but they're keeping it quite straight right now, and everybody's just trying to get settled in, it seems, early on in this race.
Yeah, luckily this track's really, really wide, so you can run 3 wide really easily. I mean, you even can go 4 wide. It's not smart, but you can definitely go 4 wide. So everybody, like you said, just kind of getting into a rhythm here, and kind of same thing of what we saw last week at Kansas. Everybody just kind of getting in a rhythm, and everybody's doing really good so far.
Yeah, seen some fighting outside the top 5 into the top 10. Justin Gibbs trying to hold on to a spot in the top 10, fighting with the 93 DJ Trout, Lily Frazier, and the 34 Bobby Blowers and Blake Henderson not far behind them. Seeing some 2-wide racing here back in the pack, and that looked like a car lagging. That's the 13 of Lily Frazier. Blinked there for a moment coming into turn 1, but they're able to keep it clean, and still some good racing going on here as the 39 of Justin Gibbs stays on the low side and back to the front. John Hagan keeping a manageable lead over the 89 of Connor Morris, who has looked excellent, better than any race so far in the field. As we saw a car dive down onto the pits, I believe that was the 17 of Rodney Ayers. It was, but back Connor Morris kind of hanging on to the 88 John Hagan right now. The best showing I believe we've seen from him so far this season.
Yeah, best race I can remember. I know he's been up front a couple times, but just been involved in some issues that weren't always his fault. But I think the 17 probably came back out and realized he had more damage than he thought, and unfortunately had to come back down pit road, and that was from that initial issue right from the start. But like I said, other than that, this has been a really great race, 2-3 wide throughout the whole field, and everybody's been really patient so far with everyone around them.
I think the 17 might have had a penalty, because I don't think he stopped when he went through the pits that last time. Just an overall 18-second pit lane time, which doesn't make too much sense to me. So I believe he probably had a drive through the 17 to Rodney Ayers, as John Hagan slowly but surely increasing the gap over the 89 Connor Morse, who in turn has about an 8/10 lead over the 37 of Martin Roberg, who has gained a few positions from the start of this race. Looking back here, a few cars battling for a top 5, the 81, the 3, and the 6 among them. As see, most of these trucks come into view as they come down the backstretch and into turn 3. That sun is trying to set, and that's also going to affect how these trucks maneuver and the grip on those tires.
For sure. I mean, the track temp's going to continue to go down as the sun goes down, and that's going to, like you said, it's going to change how these trucks handle. Probably going to make them a little tight, especially in the pack, but we'll see what they can do as the track temp continues to decrease as the sun goes down.
Yeah, seeing a ton of battle. It looks like a car in the back got a little bit loose. That might be the 92 of Austin Mongold off the corner, but they're battling hard to try and get into these top 10 positions. Looking at the 92 of Austin Mongold now with an on-board look. Not quite getting loose, maybe a tad bit of a twitch, but not too worse for the wear. He's sitting in 23rd right now, and you can see a lot of this pack in front of him. Maybe a bit of a 3-wide battle up there in front of him, just maybe, I can't quite tell, but he's just kind of biding his time right now in the back, and you can see the effects of that draft with the lower downforce. He's getting quite close up, and there's a car on the wall. I can't quite tell who that was. That was a 27 of David Smeal Jr., one of our race winners this season, in the wall. He's going to be able to keep it going, but he's really slow and almost got hit by the 94 Jimmy Mench as he tries to come down into the pit lane.
Yeah, it was really close. That could have been really bad for those two trucks, but 27 unfortunately going to have to fix that damage under green, probably go a couple laps down here.
And while that happened, the 37 of Martin Roberg passed the 89 of Connor Morse, which gives John Hagan over a second lead on the leaders, the second place and the third place cars, as they've come into a nice little 6-car, 7-car pack in the back here. And 89's at the wall.
He is. I think he's used up his stuff, Eli. I think he pushed too hard trying to stay with John, and he's unfortunately fallen back a little bit. Now he's got the 00 Byron Jones right on his back bumper, so may have just used his stuff up a little too early here.
We'll have to see. The 37 Martin Roberg trying to get a gap on the 89, and the 00 Byron Jones looking to pass this 89 car as well, with Pacey Wedge and Joshua Sosi waiting at the wing. See a barrage of pink trucks passing the orange and blue. Looks like Byron Jones able to get by, and now it's going to be the 6 of Pacey Wygen's turn to make a move. That 89 stuck on the high side, and looks like he's not really able to get the runs off, as basically everybody has passed him now, and Lilac Zier is looking to get past this 89 truck next.
Yeah, it looks like he just really has to roll out of the throttle and can't get back into the throttle as quickly as his other competitors, and it's really affecting his truck right now. And
yeah, he's
loose,
looking very loose. That truck is not happy with the driver of that 89. You see the 3 of Lilac Zier gain underneath him now as they come through turns 3 and 4, but the 89 is going to get the run off the corner, but not quite able to clear the 3, and the 3 is going to have the advantage in the turn.
Yeah, I've been watching several of these trucks, and they are extremely loose coming out of corner exit.
There's right there. Able to save it, was getting a little bit dicey on the exit of 2 there, and that allows the 3 of Lilac Zier to pass. That outside lane is just looking super loose for the 89 Connor Morse.
I think as these tires are wearing, it's getting looser and looser as we take a replay of what happened with Connor there.
Let's take a look on board the 89 truck. You can see that car just start to get loose, a little bit of a slide. Not the worst slide ever, but sometimes those small little slides can turn into bigger ones, into a run-in with the inside wall. But on this occasion, Connor Morse able to keep that nose in the right direction. As he comes through turns 3 now, still losing time to the 3 of Lilac Zier, as John Hagen has taken quite a large gap. Actually, the gap has decreased. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Roberg's catching him.
0.3, now down to 0.2. I mean, Martin Roberg's getting to him quick, but John Hagen's going to have the advantage on that high side of getting the run down the straightaway. It leads me to wonder if Hagen is saving his tires maybe a little bit more than these other drivers.
Could be, but I mean, I think Martin Roberg is on a mission right now, and Pacey's not far behind them, so really good battle here. Top 3, top 2 right now. Martin Roberg is on a mission to get to the front.
Pacey Wygen was the fastest of these top 3 last time around, with Joshua Sosi not far behind in terms of pace. Connor Morse is super loose in the back. You saw him hit the wall there a little bit, as Martin Roberg still looking for an angle to get around this 88 truck. Loose for the 37, a little bit mid-corner, but still able to keep it going. And we're looking at a great battle for the lead, as 4 trucks in the running for this. Last time around, that 6 was still the fastest of the bunch. John Hagen slightly faster than the 37 Martin Roberg, as we're taking an onboard look with the 37, the Trevor Project paint scheme, as he's trying to use this low line to his advantage, at least in the corner, and to try and really get to this 88 John Hagen. But Hagen just gets the run off the corner every single time with the benefit of that high side, and Roberg has to use the draft to get back up to that 88.
And I tell you what, if anybody that's watching this never raced before, you know, we say these trucks are getting loose, and you may think, oh, it doesn't really look that bad. Be inside that truck, driving that truck. Trust me, they are wheeling those things to try and keep them going straight.
Especially with a cold, grippy track on the old tires, sometimes these things can lose their grip in a heartbeat. You're seeing the onboard with Connor Morris, how much he's just moving that wheel in the middle of the turns, and those small little adjustments to keep it going how he wants it to go. Taking a more extended look through the corner, you can see pretty smooth on it there, but as he gets into the mid corner, he's basically having to go to where he would have it on a straight, as you see him starting to lose it a little bit on the exit, and those hand motions and movements on the wheel to keep it straight.
Yeah, but that's how you, I mean, that's how you do it. That's how you have to race it to be fast. But unfortunately for Connor, he's just dropped. I mean, he's back in 9th, about to be passed for 10th, or for 9th. He'll be in 10th and started, you know, up there on the pole. So just not a good long run truck for the 89 of Connor Morse.
Meanwhile, the 6 of Pacey Wygen looking for a move on the 37 of Martin Roberg for that second position. We'll have to see if he gets it down the backstretch. Martin Roberg elected to take the high side in this engagement. Maybe not elected, but was forced up there. But he's going to try and have these runs down the straightaways as a result of that high side. But Pacey Wygen's going to clear him, and now it's Sosi on the back end of that 37 truck.
Yeah, that's probably not what John Hagan wanted to see. Pacey Wygen, like you said earlier, turned one of the fastest lap times of these leaders, and I think Pacey Wygen might be hunting down that 88 truck now.
Yeah, he's starting to get closer. I still kind of believe that John Hagan's saving his stuff somewhat, but I don't know how much more they have to save before they make a fuel stop here, as Pacey Wygen gain ever so closer to the 88, and he's going to be within striking distance, but he's not going to be able to clear him coming off the corner. And John Hagan going to be clear as they roam down the backstretch once more. That 6 is closer than anybody else we've seen tonight.
Yeah, the outside just has to roll out of the throttle so much more than the inside, but then if the inside can't clear that outside truck, the outside
gets... John Hagan got loose off the corner.
Outside just truck gets such a good run, though.
Yeah, now he's going low to try and protect that inside, and with the new aerodynamic package, if that 6 truck doesn't react, it can force that 6 truck to go up the track and push like a madman. But the 6 is going to get to the outside of the 88, and that might have been a mistake on John Hagan's part.
Yeah, Hagan's struggling with that truck right now. I mean, we saw him get really loose off 4. He's still loose. I mean, that's just really tough right now.
The 6 is going to have the run off the corner. He's going to go low this time. The 88 sticking it high. We're going to see if the 6 can clear the 88, but I don't think that's going to be the end of this. Even if he does, the 88 is going to have the run off the corner. 6 coming up the track. He's going to be able to clear the 88, but the 88 has one big run coming down the front straightaway, and they're going to be going back and forth here for a few laps.
Yep, they're just going to keep swapping. I mean, as long as that inside truck can come and clear the second... Oh, he's not going to be clear.
His loose, and Pacey Wygen is going to have the run to be able to clear the 88 and take the lead of this race for sure. And hearing now the 88 of John Hagan coming into the pits. This time by, they've hit their pit window now. Pacey Wygen going to be staying out to lead a lap, and oh my God, Sosi almost came up on the 37 to Martin Roberg there.
Oh, the 33's losing it. 33's spinning on the front stretch.
Spinning, Joshua Gaiman spinning. That's going to be a poorly timed yellow for the 81 of Joshua Sosi. I mean, John Hagan, sorry.
Yeah, Gaiman was trying to get on pit road and just way too fast. And he spun it. So he's tried to save it and then spun it on the front stretch. Yep. Another bad break for the 88 of John Hagan. He had the same thing happen to him last week at Kansas.
Yellow on pit road spells disaster. I don't think this is going to leave him too, at least as bad as it did at Kansas. At least it came out while he was on pit road and not after he pitted, so he doesn't get stuck a lap down. And everybody else here should be pitting, so he might be able to reclaim the race lead when we come back this time. Taking a look at the replay now, let's see what happens to this 33 on the outside of the 13. And he just loses it on the exit and not able to save it. Kind of looked like he did for a moment there, but not able to do it. And that's what's going to bring out the first yellow of the night, as he almost got killed by somebody.
That would just be Joshua Gaiman's luck, trying to woe it down and get just T-boned.
He was basically stopped. So that does bring out our first caution. It looks like 27 is about the fuel number. We'll have to keep an eye on tonight, as most of the field comes in that has not already pitted. John Hagan going to be one of the ones who stays out along with some of our lap down cars. We'll have to see what happens now. This time, once we go back green, 30 laps under our belts tonight as we see PC Wygen come out of the pit lane first, ahead of Martin Roberg, who I believe Sosi has lost a ton of spots on pit road, just a huge amount of spots. He comes out in the back about 15th now. Not looking good for that 81 truck as John Hagan going to retake the lead of this race.
Yeah, that worked out perfectly for Hagan. Thought it was gonna kind of mess his strategy up, but the caution came out so fast that everybody started to slow up. So he didn't go a lap down and then was able to stay out and get the lead. So worked out perfectly for him.
I'm hearing Connor Morse disconnected, and apparently he hit the attenuator in entering the pits. Which has ruined his night spectacularly, and for all the wrong reasons. We might have to go back and take a look and see what happens, because he is completely out of this race.
Sounds like a Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney moment almost.
That is quite bizarre. I mean, I haven't heard of that on iRacing, but I mean, we'll have to take a look and see what happens. Here's a replay now. The entry of pit road, the 89 truck, I believe. Let's see. Oh, I don't know if you saw that, Ryan, but looks like he might have clipped it on the entry here. We'll have to take a slow-mo look into it. And that must have given him a ton of damage from that little small clip here. Yep, that's a toe link broken. The suspension completely damaged on that right front, and that's going to be the end of Connor Morse's night here at Homestead. A tough break for him.
Yeah, tough break for sure. I mean, I never really fully understood why drivers, I mean, I know you have to stay to the right, but you don't have to go that far out. I mean, just unfortunate, and definitely looked like it broke some suspension components of that truck, and his night is done after starting on pole.
Anyhow, lights on the pace truck are out, and they have doubled up, so we will be going green this time by John Hagan and Pacey Wygen. Going to be leading the field to green, as one of the big losers on that pit stop was Joshua Sosi. He's now going to be restarting back in 15th, and Martin Roberg going to be holding that third spot on the restart. So a bit of a field mix-up here as we're looking at our first restart of the day. All these drivers should be on fresh tires and a full tank of fuel as we take a look on board with the 37 Toyota of Martin Roberg. Coming off of turn 4, gonna see the pace truck pull off, and as these drivers wait for the Geico restart zone, they find it, and we're back underway here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Zeros hits the wall. There's a car. That's going to be the 82 of Jaden Bingaman. The 33 involved, the 98 involved, the 54 involved. A few trucks involved here. I mean, it looks like a graveyard coming off of 2. Somebody gets absolutely hammered. That was the 24 of Kyler McCarthy. Bit of a graveyard happening on the back stretch. And that is insane. Incredible stuff. Incredible for all the wrong reasons. I should add, I'm not even quite sure how many different wrecks happened there.
I know like 5 minutes after it, Mongold hit somebody, but yeah, let's take a look at it here, the replay.
Let's take a look. See what happens here. I mean, I think there are multiple different wrecks going on at once here, but you saw the 3 go up into the wall. We're seeing something happen here with the double zero comes up and cleans out about 3 different cars. The 3 gets turned. They're wrecking in the back even more. I mean, this is incredible, kind of.
Yeah, I don't know what the double zero was thinking. He was not clear at all. And like you said, took out 4 or 5 trucks with him.
Yeah, that's quite weird.
There's Mongold. Reckon
I
3 minutes
don't even
after.
know what was happening there. There's just so much. There's so many things going on. I feel like I'm watching a wreck at Talladega or Daytona. Let's see what happens here. Looks like the 82 of Bingaman got turned by somebody in front of the field as well, which caused these few cars to get into it. A large chunk of damage on that 54 truck. As we're back to live, seeing the 33 on the pit lane. A few of these trucks involved, on pit lane. That's going to bring out our second caution of the night. That's quite a weird one, to say the least.
Yeah, and I looked at the standings, and there was only 17 trucks that didn't come down pit road right there. So pretty much everyone else had some form of damage, or maybe, had to get new tires after spinning. But huge wreck there, and probably going to have a couple trucks that's going to be the end of their night.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. I mean, I'm just still in awe on how many separate things happened there. The 88 John Hagan still has control of this race, and Byron Jones moves up to 3rd despite being a big benefactor. Well, not benefactor, but a big player in that wreck. 6th Pacey Wygen in 2nd, then Martin Roberg, but Lily Frazier also filling out the top 5 here, as hopefully we're not going to see something like we did at Kansas last week with a bit of a cautions breed cautions thing, but we're kind of trending that way, and I'm kind of curious. But the sun is setting even more here in the southern part of Florida.
Yeah, it's going to give them more grip, so they're going to feel a little bit more courageous out there. But yeah, we always talk about, we all run in different leagues and different races. Normally, the truck or the car that causes the crash usually ends up getting out just fine. Exactly what happened with this one, the double zero. Made some contact there and just kept right on going, and now in 3rd. So unfortunate for every driver that was involved in that wreck.
Yeah, well, you have to see kind of if that has any effect on his truck, and if there's any damage to that double zero. 213simward.com truck, but that will have to be decided in about a pace lapse time here, as we're starting to double up. The lights on the pace truck are out, and the same few drivers up at the front: John Hagan, Pacey Wygen, the 37, the double zero. I mean, the usual suspects here filling up the top 5.
Yeah, for sure. And also a really good run right now for Carmen Sienna. We mentioned that she missed the grid, so had to start from pit road. Didn't go a lap down, and now she's up there running in 11th. So good recovery. She had a really good finish last week at Kansas, so we'll see what she can do. She was actually turning really fast lap times back there by herself, so it'll be fun to see if she can get up there and maybe battle for top 5 again.
Yeah, Dale Markowski, Blake Henderson also have made their way into the top 10, as well as Tyler Rush and Justin Gibbs, Casey Ellis, so a few new faces in the top 10. But we're in turn for the pace truck, about to pull down onto pit road. There it goes. The 88 of John Hagan has control once he hits the Geico restart zone, and we are back underway here at Homestead. And it seems like we made it all out okay. I heard wrecking over the radio, but nothing actually seemed to happen. And John Hagen jumping out to a nice lead over the 6 at Pacey Wygen here early on in the run. Martin Roberg taking that high lane, though, over the 00 and might be able to get by him here on the backstretch behind that 6 truck.
Blake just about lost it on the front stretch, and when they were talking about the wrecking, Blake's gonna almost make some contact. It was the 98 of Greg Pillar almost spun out on the start. Don't know why they said wrecking. It was just one car, but Blake had a really rough turn there. But yeah, John Hagen right now about a 0.6 of a second lead over Pacey.
Yeah,
28's around.
Oh, we got a car wrecking. We'll have to wait and see kind of what happens here. The 51 of Selena Thompson claimed the responsibility for that, but we'll have to see a little bit further and see what happens here. To Lynn Myers looks like the one that spun, trying to catch up to the pack now. Doesn't look like there's much damage on that truck. Maybe the left front does, sorry, on that 28 inspired Talladega Nights inspired car. Taking a look at the replay here, see what happens. And the 21 hits the apron and comes up in front of the 51. So in my eyes, that's a little bit of racing incident, but that puts the 28 into the wall and gives him a little bit of damage on that truck. What do you think about that one, Ryan?
Yeah, it looks like he got the apron, and when he got that apron, it kind of just shot him up. And I mean, you really can't, if you're Selena, I mean, what do you do there? Like, she probably checked up and just, I mean, that's just happens so fast. It's hard to react.
Yeah. Yeah, and saw a bit of damage on the right rear as well to that 28 truck. So feels like a racing incident, at least in my eyes, as the 28's on the pit road trying to get those repairs done now. And we're back under yellow once again here at Homestead-Miami, as the sun has basically set completely now, and we have found ourselves under the night sky. Dale Markowski there, you see on the screen Lily Frazier as well. The back of the Greek flag being emboldened, as well as the trans flag on the not the spoiler, but I guess it is the spoiler of the 13 truck. I'm getting my car parts mixed up a little bit there, but these cars slowly coming around the track, just waiting to go green once more. And everybody's just trying to vibe. I mean, they did just pit, so not much urgency. They come down the pits as 40 laps into this race, just about halfway, have knocked this race out, at least in a good chunk of time so far.
Yeah, but this is the part of the race where everybody starts to get impatient, and unfortunately, you know, a lot of people getting loose, and especially with different tires, some people with new tires, some people with a little bit older tires. Hopefully we can get a good green flag run to the finish. That would be awesome, but like we always say, cautions breed cautions.
Yeah, 11 caution laps on 3 cautions so far tonight. 42 laps to go, so officially the halfway point, basically, as lights on the pace truck are out, and we'll see these trucks start to double up. John Hagen will have control of the restart once again, as we're gonna be looking at the other half of the race once we start going green here. The 6 besides the 88 on this restart, we're seeing a bit of a mix-up behind them as multiple people trying to pass the 82 who has presumably an EOL of some sort. The 6, the 88 on the front row, followed by the 00 and the 37 will be behind them. On board with the 00 of Byron Jones. The 213 Simware Chevrolet close behind the back bumper of the 88 as we're going to see the Pace truck pull down pit road shortly. There it goes. These drivers waiting for the green flag to wave, and we're back underway here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. John Hagan.
Oh, 13's around.
Behind, and that's going to bring out the yellow. Gets hit hard by a car. And that's going to be the 13th night, almost certainly done. That left front tire is disconnected from the rest of the suspension. And that was a huge incident. See the 33 on the, what do you call that? The access road there. And that might be the 13th night done. I mean, that's a huge amount of damage.
Yeah, not only is the front clip missing, but it looks like both front tires are towed in. She might be going to repay a favor here.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on this and see what's happening, or unless she's just getting her spot back in line. But I would think that she would just go ahead and retake her spot in line.
I think she's looking for somebody. She's going awfully fast. I think Blake was the one that got her.
Oh, yep. Oh, that's not good. That she just wrecked the HTL head admin, and that's going to not be good for the 13 truck.
I knew she was looking for somebody. Hey, it's never good when you look for the owner of a series, because me being the owner of ARCs, I've had some people look for me, and it's usually never. Oh, she's not done.
She's still mad.
This is not good.
I mean, yeah, and she has been removed from the server, so that is most certainly her night done, and possibly a suspension upcoming for that 13 truck.
Yikes.
That is an outburst. We'll have to see. Let's just take replay of what happened. She just kind of sidewinded the 25. And now we're going to take a look and see what happens. I mean, the 25 did kind of wreck her, but still, you don't go wrecking people. And she gets hammered by somebody. I couldn't quite tell who, but she got Carmen, completely hammered. I don't know if it was Carmen. I think it was a car behind her, the car behind Carmen. I think Carmen got a little bit of it. I think it was two cars at once. I think the 8 of Steven Overstad as well. That's what it kind of looked like to me. As I mean, not great from 25's point of view, but still, you just cannot do that from what the 13 did there on track.
Yeah, I mean, and another thing to keep in mind is the 13's been blinking all race. Obviously, wasn't blinking there. Blake also not known for the best internet, so anytime you have two drivers around each other that are having some connectivity issues, some people like to use that as an excuse. I've done it before when I had bad internet, but yeah, the 13, regardless, you just can't do that. I mean, the first hit, okay, but don't go and search for a second hit. That's where it kind of crosses the line.
or just don't go for the hit at all, especially on the league owner, or at least the guy in control of basically everything, HTL. I mean, I don't think that's quite a good idea from the start. I mean, maybe you could give him a little bit of a bump, but I don't think you should outright wreck people under yellow flag conditions, as lights on the pace truck are out, and John Hagan's going to have control of this race once again on the restart.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely gone up to a driver and revved my engine, or maybe just give them a little nudge, showing them that I'm not happy with them. But yeah, there's a line, and unfortunately, the 13 definitely crossed that line, and her night is done.
So we'll have to see what happens with that, but we're going to be back underway racing here quite soon, as the 88 has control of the restart once again. The 6 of Pacey Wygen on the outside with Byron Jones, and the 37 of Martin Roberg behind them, on board with the 00 Byron Jones once again for a restart. As the pace truck going to pull off here. And once again, we're back green flag racing.
Oh, Blake didn't go.
Look at already.
Blake did not go.
Wow, a graveyard. Shades of that one Dover race. I can't remember which year, but shades of that, as a car did not go. You said Blake. I believe that's right. Huge damage on that 34, and that is a graveyard. We're looking at a junkyard of cars.
I don't know what Blake was doing. He just did, like, not only did he not go, like, it's almost like he ran out of fuel. That was the strangest thing I've probably seen. I don't know. We'll have to look at it, but that was really weird.
That is bizarre. Taking a look at the replay here. Let's see what happens here. He just doesn't go completely, and I've never seen anything like that.
I haven't either. I mean, it wasn't even like he was damaged. It was like he went and he had nothing. Yeah, Eli, that's the strangest thing I've ever seen, buddy.
Let's take a listen. I'd have to listen to this again on my own and try and see what happens. I cannot honestly tell what happened. He might have missed a gear.
Yeah, well,
I tell you
what, Eli, I've missed a gear before, and my truck's never done that. I don't know. That's just,
alternatively, what he might have done is he might have restarted in the wrong gear.
That could have happened, or he had so much damage that when he started, maybe his motor blew or something. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we could hear a little bit of engine noise, so obviously it didn't blow. We didn't see smoke. I don't know. That is a very strange thing that just happened, and a lot of drivers obviously very upset right now.
Yeah, that is quite confusing. Gonna take a look on board with the 39 truck of Justin Gibbs and just see what happens. And green flag's out. He's going. Yeah, that, you know what, that looks like he was in the wrong gear, because you can see the car lurch back when he shifts into second.
Yeah, like he tried to restart in fourth.
Yeah, just didn't restart the right gear, which I've done multiple times, and I think this was like the worst case scenario.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, he was probably a little heated, a little frazzled from what just happened to him before, and just wasn't paying attention, and probably restarted in fourth. And unfortunately, like you said, just not a good time to make a mistake if you're the 25 truck.
Yeah, no, and just unfortunate on his part, and that's going to leave a lot of trucks with damage for the remainder of this race, as John Hagan once again has the lead of this race. And we're going to take another look at this and just see what happens with the 82 of Jaden Bingaman. Nope, the 8 of Steven Oberstadt. Let's see what. Oh, we're going farther back. Okay, I can't even tell what truck this is currently. This is a Snap-on car, the 56 of Dean Clavitt. Let's see what happens. See the carnage going on ahead, and he gets on the gas, and then he's just immediately braking for a ton of cars stopped. You see the 82 Jaden Bingham and the 33 of Joshua Gaiman. I mean, that's a junkyard if I've ever seen it. All those cars going immediately to the nearest landfill.
Absolutely, and I mean, we only have, I think, 18 right now that are on the lead lap, and honestly, of those 18, I don't even know. I'm sorry, we have 19 on the lead lap. I would say probably half of those probably have some form of damage. So hopefully we can get some green flag racing right now. John Hagan and Pacey are just like, hey, we want to race. You know, let's do some racing here.
Yeah, we are doubled up and going to be ready to go green once again and have at least another attempt at some long green flag racing. A few names we haven't seen in the top 10, like Rance Lewin, Dean Clavitt, and Colin Finn, making their way here, as that 54 is gnawing at the bit to get going here, as he will be able to do quite shortly here. Pace truck is about to come off on the exit of turn 4, and these trucks will be soaring down the front straight away as the 88 has control, finds the Geico restart zone and the gas pedal, and we are back underway. Saw car getting a little bit loose there, and we're back to looks like some cleaner racing, as the 88 of John Hagan getting a lead over the 6 of Pacey Wygant here, and a battle for third behind them. That's the 37 and the, I believe, the 00 of Byron Jones.
82's wrecking.
And the 82 is stopped on the track, and we're keeping this one green somehow. And now it's out because they're wrecking in turns 1 and 2.
72, yep. 72's in it.
The 72 damage from this one. He's going to try and get back going, but there might be some major damage on that car. Looks like it may be a little bit of crabbage going on there. We'll have to see. It looks like another car was sitting there on the apron. I can't quite tell who that is. Is that the 26 of Colin Flynn? It looks like it may be also stopped. So we're back under yellow once again. We'll have to see what happens here.
Need a revision to this 3 for 20 rule for these cautions. Everybody starts off good, and then we kind of fly off the rails a little bit.
It's kind of funny how that starts happening after the rule is implemented.
Of course. Yeah, everybody's going to get to that first 20 laps and then get crazy.
Let's take a look at the replay and see what happens here. This is the 8 of Steven Oberstadt, who's coming out of the pits. And it looks like he's just, that's under yellow, so he's just stopped there for some reason, probably trying to let a few cars get by him. Let's see what happens here on the restart turn 1. See 16 Christopher Pannell, as the 72 looks like it just gets tight after being bumped by the 81 and gets sent up the track, as you saw the 27 and the 26 also involved in both with heavy damage there. That is, we'll have to take another look at this. I believe the 81 got into the back of the 72, which caused this, or he hit the apron. Can see something, a tap from the 81 there that sends the 72 up the track into the 16. The 8 making contact with the 72. Nowhere for him to go. Nowhere for the 26 to go either. He's kind of just a bystander. The 27 gets absolutely just blindsided by that 26 truck and damage for that 27 as well.
Yeah, it looks like most of the leaders just pit there under caution. We got, I think the top 4 stayed out. So Lilac Zier, the 16, the 98, and the 33 stayed. No, I'm sorry, the 33 looks like he is pitting now. But Hagen and everyone else came down. Obviously, you know, from what we saw in that first green flag run, they should be able to make it to the end now on fuel. So we'll see what happens. But a few did stay out.
You did just see the replay of the 82 spinning into the inside wall as the 3 of Lilac Zier going to have control of the race now on this restart. Maybe the first one that John Hagen has not been in control of. There's 26 laps to go, 6 cautions for 22 caution laps, and we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens on this next edition of the restarts here in HTL Hammer Down Truck Series. They've been crazy so far, some clean, some not so clean. We'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, if I had to bet, we're probably not done with cautions, but maybe we can get a green flag run here. I mean, at this point, like I said, now only showing 17 on the lead lap, and a lot of them still fixing damage from several different crashes throughout the night. So running out of trucks out there that are clean and ready to try and win this thing.
Yep, we'll have to see here as lights on the pace truck about to go out, and they're going to double them up here. Lilac Zier electing the inside lane. Christopher Pannell going to be forced to the outside lane here, and they're going to line up behind them as we're going to get ready to go green once again here on lap 60. That will be the lap once we go green. Greg Pillar also finding himself in a good position. John Hagen going to be restarting 4th. The 6 of Pacey Wygant in 10th, so he must have lost a few positions on pit road. And Austin Mongol, Dale Markowski, Martin Roberg, and Byron Jones, a few other drivers find themselves in the top 10 here. Seeing a little bit of damage on the left side of that 3 truck, as well as on the 98 truck. A few of these trucks with some damage. The 16, of course, was involved in that last wreck as well, the last caution. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here as we're rolling through turns 3 and 4 on board with the 98 of Greg Pillar. The pace car going to pull off the cursed 3 Ford, looking for the Geico restart zone. We'll find it, and we're back underway here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. And that was a huge gap for the 3. I'm not quite sure if that was on the 16 or the 3, but a huge gap for that 3 truck.
Yeah, and they're already 3 wide into 1 coming out of 2. They are all over the place here with only 24 to go.
John Hagen starting to charge back up to the front. He's already gone past the 16 of Christopher Pannell, and now he's going to be searching for the 3. It's the 6 of Pacey Wygant spinning from the field. Multiple cars involved. It looks like they're still starting to spin the 54. Ranslewin able to save it, though, and we're back under yellow flag conditions here at Homestead-Miami Speedway.
Yeah, no shocker there. I think the 6 truck, like you said, lost some spots on pit road and was trying to make them up and just pushed it a little too hard, and I don't know what exactly happened, but not a good outcome for the 6 truck.
We'll have to go by and take a look. That's going to hamper that 6 truck further and put him farther back in the pack and hamper his chances of winning this race. So we'll have to go back and take a look and see what happened here. Taking a look at the replay now. Let's see what happens. 3 wide and 1 and 2, and the 6 just gets, sorry, 3 and 4. The 6 just gets tagged by the 43. Both of them end up in the wall, and the 54 does a nice job of saving that Interstate Batteries truck. Gonna take a look from the on board of a truck here. The 54 truck, you can see a bit of contact here with the 6 and the 83 entering the corner, it looks like, as well. As they come into 3, the 6 kind of comes down into the 83's territory. Not that hardest contact, but then the 43 comes along, just gets on the right rear part of that 6, kind of drives through him and sends both of them up into the wall, and then the 54 just getting a little bit loose on the exit.
Yeah, the 43 looks like maybe he was trying to make a run on the outside and just unfortunately made contact with the 6 truck.
Have to take a look on board with the IMB race, where as just a slimmest of margins. It looks like maybe a little bit of lag, but it looks like the 6 just had a little bit of a slow loss of momentum in the middle of the corner and kind of caused the 43 to run into the back of that 6. Not sure. I think that one can kind of be chalked up as a racing incident, but of course we'll have to see what the officials think of that post-race.
I'm going to tell you, the officials are going to be busy after this race, Eli. Might be an all-nighter.
Might be an all-nighter, but it's a hefty job and one that takes a lot of responsibility, as with power comes great responsibility. So these trucks going to be looking for another restart here soon. Well, there's an explanation there from Strix Pulsatrix, our great producer here in the booth.
I wasn't even connected.
And apparently she was not connected, so
I made a whole explanation. I made a whole explanation about what that deal was, only to find out afterwards that my audio levels weren't going because I hadn't connected my microphone properly to OBS. But regardless, longest story short, the 43 of Caleb Carter had some kind of lag incident or packet sending incident where, for some reason, sometimes it's especially prevalent on oval races. If you send packets at the wrong time, or you're a little laggy on your packet sending to the server, you can basically drive through another car or another truck like you're driving through it, but the contact model is still there for the truck you're hitting, but not your own truck. So that's why it looked like Caleb Carter was just driving through Pacey Wygen, why that was such a weird wreck to see. So yeah, it was just a netcode incident, unfortunately.
Anyways, thank you to Strix for that explanation. As we're going back green here at Homestead-Miami Speedway, Lilac Zier goes back to the pedal into turn 1.
Yeah, and I guess a couple.
Oh my God! Almost 3 wide.
Ooh,
Whoa,
that was close. There's a couple
coming
trucks
off of 2.
A couple trucks that have been trying to serve a pass-through, but they couldn't serve it because the caution keeps coming out. So I just heard them over radio, and the 33 gets wrecked.
John Hagan around the 3 just before the yellow comes out, and the 72 gets into the barrels at the end of the pit road one, then gets walloped by another car there. I believe that was, I can't even tell who it was, maybe the 18 or the 78. That was, I don't even, we'll have to see.
Yeah, that all started. There, that all started because Joshua Gaming came over radio and said that he was serving his drive-through penalty. He slowed down, and the truck behind him just, I guess, wasn't listening, maybe, and just drove through him. I think it was the 24 that drove through the 33. Not sure, but we'll take a look. But that's exactly what happened to start all this.
We'll have to take a look and see the 24. Yep, just kind of drive through the 33, and that's what started as 72. The 18 involved. The 94 gets hooked barely, and the 8 runs into the 72 after the 72 hits those barrels at the end of the pit road. So, I mean, that is just a miscommunication, a communication breakdown, if you will. And that is unfortunate for the 33 and several other cars who really, for a wreck that shouldn't have happened if people just kept their ears open or maybe chose a different lane. As the 34, trying to get past it, almost runs into the 78 twice, just trying to keep his car clean. Bit of a stop start there. Red light, green light. Taking a look on board with the 18 truck. Now Lily Peltier Sharp, as on the out, just nowhere to go for that 18, and seeing multiple cars spinning. Doesn't look like maybe too much damage on the 18 truck, but we'll have to wait and see. Maybe just a bit of front end nose damage. Let's take a look on board with the 94 Jimmy Mensch. He kind of went for a ride here. Let's take a look. You see the 33 gets spun up ahead, just gets slightly tapped by the 72 and goes for a ride. He's kind of lucky he didn't hit that pit road attenuator, and then is able to keep it going in the right direction. What a move. It'll kind of like a Red Bull exhibition there from the 94 truck.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel bad for Game, man. I mean, it's so frustrating. You communicate over, comms, over iRacing comms, saying that you have to pit and serve your drive-through. So he's already going to go a lap down, if not two, trying to serve his penalty, and then just kind of gets driven through by somebody who maybe didn't hear him, maybe didn't know he was coming that time. It's just very frustrating because he's just trying to serve his penalty and gets taken out in the process.
Yeah, unfortunate there, and the truck number keeps dwindling, and the 88 John Hagen has control of this race once again. Martin Roberg close behind him, and the 00 Byron Jones staying in third. So some mix-ups keep on happening in the top 10. Pacey Wygen, who was a contender for most of the race, still in the back after a pit stalling, being involved in an incident. Sorry, a few cautions ago. And we're down to about 16 trucks on the lead lap, which is not a great number, but hopefully we're able to keep it clean for these last 15, 14 laps, as John Hagen, interestingly enough, elects to have the high side on this restart.
Yeah, I think as the night's gone on and the track's cooled off, I feel like John Hagen's more comfortable on the outside, so doesn't surprise me. But yeah, 16 cars on the lead lap, that's kind of crazy, and we still don't really know. I mean, probably at least 5 or 6 of those 16 have some damage, so it's going to be a good race to the end. We only have, 14 to go at the line, so hopefully we can run this to the end and have a good finish.
Yeah, John Hagen electing for that high side, as we've mentioned, and the 37 Martin Roberg will have the inside line for this race start, but he still has to wait for the 88 to go before he can go, as we come off of turn 4. The pace truck pulls down pit road, and The 88 is going to be searching for that Geico restart zone as he finds it, and we're back underway here at Homestead, under 15 to go. John Hagan gets out to a nice lead as it looks like we have 3 wide a little bit farther back in the pack. The 24 Kyler McCarthy coming down the pits, and so is the 8 Steven Oberstein. I believe both of them have to serve penalties, so we'll have to keep an eye on that, see if anything happens. But the 88 gain up to a nice, sizable lead over the 37 of Martin Roberg, and Christopher Pannell making his way to 4th behind the 00 Byron Jones.
Yeah, I think John Hagan's really only competition right now is probably Byron Jones. Was running some pretty fast laps earlier, but yeah, John Hagan right now in the catbird seat with only 13 to go.
Yeah, Martin Roberg will try and reel that 88 truck in, but we'll have to see if he can do it as Joshua Sosi is coming quick, trying to look to pass the 16 truck who is falling back a little bit. The 92 also in the mix for these top 5 positions. Rance Lewin had passed the 16 a few seconds ago to make his way into the 4th spot as Joshua Sosi coming with a vengeance on the 16.
Yeah, he's really fast. He's going to try and hopefully maybe go to the top side of the 16 here in 3 and 4, but yeah, the 81 truck really fast right now. Just may not have enough time unless another caution comes out.
Able to get past the 16, but the 92 is also holding strong, trying to pass Christopher Pannell. Joshua Sosi makes the move stick, coming in to 1 and 2, and is able to keep that top 5 position as they're 3 wide behind him. Dean Clavitt, Lilac Zier, and the 83 of Dale Markowski, part of a 3 wide mix, and Christopher Pannell right ahead of him. They're going to be 3 wide going into turn 3 here.
Yeah, we'll be coming to 10 to go here, so 10 left, 3 wide still back here battling for 8th, 9th, and 10th. 16 truck going to block the 3, and the 3's going to push him into turn 1.
The 3 was also getting pushed by the 83, so we have some tight margins going on here. The 16 got a little bit loose mid-corner. Looks like he still might be a little bit loose, and that's going to allow Dean Clavitt to sneak by on the high side, and that 16's in free fall mode right now. I think some Tom Petty might be playing in the cockpit of that car because he is certainly free falling. The 35 now looking to get to the back of that 16, who is on the back bumper of the 93 of DJ Trout, as John Hagan has extended his lead to about a second over Martin Broberg. As I mean, you can kind of see the gap right there. The closest battle are farther back in the pack, but the most important ones up here at the front is Byron Jones trying to close in on the 37 of Martin Roberg.
Yeah, John Hagan just in a really good spot right now. I mean, he's pretty much got this thing unless another caution comes out here, but hopefully they can keep it green to the end with only 8 to go. But yeah, his lead is extending now to about 1.2 seconds over Martin Roberg.
The 81 of Joshua Sosi getting past Rance Lewin for the 4th spot. He's coming on quick. He might not have enough time, but we'll have to see. His next target's going to be Byron Jones of the 00, who is currently on the back bumper of the 37 of Martin Roberg. We're having some nice tandem battles here in the top 10.
Yeah, Awesome Mongol is trying to battle Lilac Zier for 6th position right now. The 3 and the 92 got a pretty good battle going on for 6th. But, I mean, John Hagan's still just continuing to pull away from 2nd place. It's his race to lose at this point. Yeah,
I mean, a 1.4 second gap on Martin Roberg as the 00 looking to go high on the 37 here in 3 and 4. We're going to have to see if he can get it done. It looks like he might have the advantage coming out of the corner. The 37 able to clear the 00, but that 00 of Byron Jones has a great run coming down the backstretch. Not going to use it here, though, going low on this 37 in 1 and 2.
Yeah, and that's exactly what John Hagan wants to see, is 2nd and 3rd side-by-side battling. The 00 is going to be in a really good spot here going into turn 3 if he can make it stick.
Yeah, they're going into turn 3 side by side. Byron Jones at the 00 on the inside, trying to get around the 37 of Martin Roberg. He's going to be able to make it stick, but that 37 is going to have to run coming off the corner. And that allows John Hagan to get up to 1.7 second gap with 5 laps to go here at Homestead.
Yeah, even if Byron had the speed, 5 laps, just not enough time to make up almost a 2-second gap.
Yeah, we'll have to see and watch. 5 seconds is, not 5, sorry, 5 laps is a ton of time. And Wasosi's here on the back bumper of these 2 trucks, gonna have the run on the 37, maybe coming off the corner. It looks like not quite, but he's also coming with a vengeance. Probably the fastest truck on the track right now.
Yeah, I think he's probably got a lot fresher tires than these leaders, so he's trying to get every spot he can, and he is right there on the back of the 37 as they will be coming to 3 to go. Oh, Dale wrecked. Dale and Mongold are in the wall in 3 and 4.
Oh, yep, the 83 is around in the wall, and that's going to spell horrible news for John Hagan, as that's going to bunch the field up and give Joshua Sosi and Byron Jones a chance to compete for the win here. We'll have to see what happens here to bring out this caution, which will put us under green, white checkered conditions for the end of this race.
Yeah, big contact between Mongold and Dale Markowski. Not exactly sure how that started, but brought out this caution, and now we're going to get a green, white checkered.
Yeah, we'll have to see, as a lot of these trucks are coming down pit road now. The 00 PCY should say it's down, so does the 88. Both of those trucks staying out, and
that might be the losing strategy right there.
Yeah, the 18 also stayed out, as well as I believe that 94, both of them laps down. And John Hagan said an expletive while saying that we are basically in a not great position to Byron here for this restart.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, when you're the leader, whatever you do, the people behind you are going to do the opposite. So if they would have pitted, everyone behind them would have stayed out. They stayed out, everyone behind them pitted. It's going to be tough for these two to stay up front.
Yeah, John Hagan and Byron Jones going to be on about 25-ish lap old tires here. Just about, but they have a buffer of a few other cars between them and Martin Roberg and Joshua Sosi. A few other cars stayed out with them, but I believe those are also lap down cars that will get, wait, they're not going to get waived, so they're going to get sent to the back. So that's going to put Martin Roberg and Joshua Sosi in a good spot to take this win away. So we saw a look at the replay there. It looks like the 54 just kind of hooks both the 83 and the 92 together and causes that one. Not much the other drivers could do. We'll have to take another look on it. Maybe on board with the 54 truck for one of these as they come 3 wide off of the corner. On board with the 56 of Dean Clavey, you can see it looks like the 83 came up on the 54 actually a little bit there and caused that incident there. The sandwich of a Toyota going into 3.
Yeah, it looked like the 83 came up, but then the 54 just never let off. I mean, once that contact was made, he just stayed in it.
Yeah, you can see it coming down all the way on the back stretch. Maybe the 83 thought he was clear of the 54. Looks like maybe the 54 is moving there a little bit more, and just so close margins. It's gonna be interesting to see what they say about that after the race.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, you make that initial contact, and then you think, well, you want to lift, but it's hard to do that, especially coming to the checkered flag pretty much. So it's unfortunately it took out the 83 and the 92 of Austin Mongold. But yeah, I think these two up front, Eli, are sitting ducks here on this green-white checkered.
John Hagan electing for the outside once again, as these 00 Byron Jones going to be starting on the inside. Joshua Sosi and Martin Roberg going to be right behind them, looking to pounce at any opportunity, as we're going to be having a green-white checkered here. On board with the 54 here, you can see how much he's just moving that steering wheel. He's chomping at the bit. He's ready to go. He's probably drank a few Monster Energies or his energy drink of choice within the last hour. So he's hopped up on caffeine, ready to go. On board now with the 37 of Martin Roberg, who is restarting third and will be in a good spot to take the lead and maybe even the win here, as the pace truck about to pull down onto pit road, as our first green-white checkered attempt of the day is underway now here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. John Hagan gained up to a good lead over Byron Jones, as Joshua Sosi and Martin Roberg trying to get around this 00 as fast as they can before caution comes out or before the lead gets too far away from him. Joshua Sosi going around the high side is going to have to pass the 00 in this turn if he wants a chance at that 88 truck.
Yeah, the 00 is the 88's best friend right now, because he is holding everyone up with one to go here at Homestead.
Oh, the 88 was in the wall. The 88 was in the wall. These cars are loose on the high side, and the 81's going to have to run up the corner as the 88 hit the wall. On the outside, the 37 gets blocked all the way down the track, and the 81 comes down low in front of the 00 on the 37. This is incredible racing here. The 81 is going to get in front of the 88. The 37 also does, and the 81 of Joshua Sosi is going to win at Homestead. A thrilling final lap for Joshua Sosi.
What a finish. And the 37 got second. Hagan comes home in third, and Byron Jones falls back to fifth. What a finish here at Homestead.
Heartbreak for John Hagan there. You saw the 37. He's getting a little bit mad at somebody over the radio as he got blocked all the way to the white line by Byron Jones, but still an excellent finish for him, able to get second, and that's going to bring the 81 down into victory lane, and he's going to burn it down on the front stretch here at Homestead-Miami. There he goes. Sosi burning it down on the front straightaway just at the finish line. Basically drew a perfect circle there, as he has to be happy about that one. His second win on the season, one at Phoenix as well. That might be his third. I believe I know he's won at Phoenix and now here, so at least second, as he's going for the Polish victory lap, the Kwiatkowski Classic. Sosi undeniably excited about this win.
Yeah, that was a great finish. He made the right moves. The 88 just pushed a little too hard, got into the wall a couple times, really ruined his runs off the exit, and got the win.
Yeah, he's taking the long way around. Going to be coming back to the finish line here shortly to receive the winner's trophy for tonight. That doesn't actually exist, but exists in our hearts and our minds. The 81 taking home another victory, as we're going to look at the top 10 for tonight's race quite quickly. Of course, Joshua Sosi comes home in first after a thrilling last lap pass on the 80 of John Hagan. Martin Roberg comes home in second, John Hagan in third, Lilac Zier fourth, Byron Jones fifth, Rance Lewin sixth, the 56th Dean Clavitt in seventh, Casey Ellis eighth, DJ Trout ninth, and Greg Pillar in 10th tonight here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. And why don't we get into the interviews here tonight? You see the 81 and the 24 together there on the front straightaway here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. He's burning it out some more, actually, as
They tried the nose-to-nose burnout, but it didn't quite work for them there. They need some practice.
no smoke was coming out the back of those tires. Sorry, as looks like these drivers are ready for their interviews now. I believe first we're going to talk to the third place finisher here, John Hagan in the 88 truck. John, you got a copy?
I do.
Well, you were in control for most of the race, but a key topic of tonight's race, especially, was the changes to the aerodynamics of these trucks. What were you feeling on the track in regards to how that maybe changed the that outcome of this race here tonight and how it affected you?
I don't know. It didn't really change much for me. And neither did the racing, I guess. People will still do dumb stuff even if iRacing changes the way the car handles. So, I mean, I drove the car fast and I did what I could.
All right, and once the cautions started happening, and especially with that last lap, not last lap, but that last caution pit stop, kind of what was going through your mind, especially with regards to that final pit strategy?
When the caution came out with 3 laps to go, I thought Chase Elliott, back when COVID races were happening at Charlotte, I was screwed either way. If I come down take 4, some people are going to stay out and I'm not going to have enough time to get there. And if I stay out, freaking everybody behind me will come down. So it's lose-lose there. And I gave it everything I had, trying to keep it up there to finish it, but it didn't work out.
All right, and just how are you kind of feeling with the finish? Of course, probably not the one you wanted, but I mean, third is still a good finish nonetheless. You led a majority of the laps. Just kind of what are you feeling with the finish?
I'm thinking that the race was a total embarrassment to this league. I think that the drivers need to clean it up, and yet I'm pinned as a wrecking ball, but we have freaking however many cautions we had, and then somebody unable to hold the wheel straight, so they wreck somebody coming into 3 to go. So I don't know. Maybe I'm being negative Nancy here. I'm just pissed off, but yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for that. And before we let you go, anybody you want to thank for tonight's performance?
I want to shout out my beautiful girlfriend. She'll cheer me up after this because she's awesome. Shout out everybody at Hagen Shango Racing for coming out and working hard. We do our best to put on good finishes, and I'm sure y'all had a great one today. Shout out y'all in the broadcast booth for putting on a wonderful show, and shout out the 3 cars that didn't wreck all race.
All right. Well, we're going to let you go. Enjoy the rest of your night.
All right. You have a good one.
That was the 88 of John Hagan, tonight's third place finisher. And next, we're going to talk to the second place finisher, Martin Roberg, in the 37 truck. Martin, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, you finished second, a good finish for you guys tonight. How are you feeling in regards to that finish?
That was one of the best finishes I've ever been a part of. I thought I was going to win for a second, but it kind of came down to the race off pit road there. And since I ended up on the inside, I couldn't send the move on the outside. But that was a fantastic race. Congratulations to Sosi on the win. That was so much fun up there. I know the rest of the field wasn't the best, but the trucks that were up there at the end, they all deserved to be up there. They drove phenomenal races. That was such a blast.
Of course, and in regards to kind of the racing with the new update that came out today regarding the trucks, how are you kind of feeling on that with the new aerodynamic physics?
It's a lot better. It's much tougher to drive. I put myself in a really bad moment on the first restart of the race. Like there was a lot of learning going on, which made for a really unique race because nobody really knew what to expect coming in. We were learning the entire night, and that just created a lot of fun. Like these trucks are so much fun to drive now. I didn't really enjoy them before, but just wheeling it on them is an absolute blast.
Of course, and coming to the end, what were kind of your thoughts as you came to the final restarts and kind of knew you had a chance at the win, and especially on the final restarts with the pit decision?
Well, I knew the moment the caution was going to come out, I was going to pit for two no matter what. I honestly didn't think either of them were going to stay out. Actually was talking with my teammates. So shout out to Lily Sharp on that for helping me make the call there. So for the final restart, I had Homestead 2016 flashes in my mind a few times with Byron. I was willing to let that happen as much as I didn't want it to, but I Kansas, I didn't really feel like I had a shot at the win. This time I did, so I was going for it. I would have been fine if I ended up wrecking the truck, but really happy to bring it back second. Obviously wanted that one last spot, but this isn't a good track for me, so to even be up here is pretty shocking.
Of course, and before we let you go, anybody you want to thank for your performance tonight?
Shout out to my teammates, both of the Lilies and then Orlando Outlaws, Bobby, Greg, Rance, Connor, Casey. Swear I'm probably forgetting someone, and if I am, I'm sorry. We were talking a lot today about what to expect, and that gave me the confidence going in, and it really helped me figure this out, which definitely was a big reason as to why I finished up here tonight.
All right, well, we're gonna let you go. Enjoy the rest of your night with your second place finish, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, thank you very much. Have a good night.
All right, that was the 37 of Martin Roberg, who finished second in tonight's race. And now let's talk to the winner, Joshua Sosi, in the 81 truck. Josh, you got a copy?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Well, I'm going to ask right away, how are you feeling about that win, pulling it out in the last lap?
I'm pretty fucking stoked, man. I know I'm not supposed to swear. I'm sorry, but I can't believe how that played out, especially from being stuck a lap down to rallying back and that working out. I want to apologize to Jaden in advance. I was going through 3 and 4 and yelling my damn mind off, and he was in Discord listening, so I might have popped an eardrum or two.
And yeah, when you get the fine notice from Carmen, you can send that to my bank account, please, and thank you. The big topic of discussion was kind of the changes to the physics regarding the aerodynamics of these trucks. Kind of what were you feeling as the race went on with those changes and how these trucks are a little bit different?
I think overall setup wise, from what I recall being here last time, it was the same as far as initially. You started off, you're a little snappy loose on cold tires, especially 2/3 mark, 1 and 2, 3 and 4 crossing seams. After about 3 to 4 laps, that mostly went away. I'd argue maybe there's a little looseness that stayed in the truck, as long as you weren't absolutely murdering your right front. The biggest thing you notice is you can definitely feel a little bit of the front and rear downforce is less of a factor. I feel like you could really tag up behind someone a lot better than before, and it's more about your side force. And like that first green flag run, I barely brushed the wall one time going into 3. It gave me 12 and a half seconds of damage. I fixed it all, and then the next time I come down and pit, it told me that it couldn't repair all my damage. So like they said in the release notes, if you get any side damage to your truck, it's going to mess up your bottom valences, and they won't be able to ever fully repair them. So you're going to lose some performance and downforce in your side, the side force of the truck. And you could notice that a little bit, especially if you didn't get it all fixed. And it's never going to be back to 100%. So like keeping the sides of your truck clean is like at an absolute all-time premium now as far as your corner speed.
All right, and that's some great info actually. And as you were coming to the those final few cautions, especially with the pit strategy, kind of what were you feeling, and what was your mind, kind of what were your thoughts with the pit strategy calls there?
Well, I couldn't believe I ripped up through the field to get back to fifth. I just said to heck with it. I'm going to put it on the top and get as many spots as I can, and then try to get back down to the bottom. And I think I got back to fourth, and I was just kind of settling, trying to set up Martin. Maybe I can get a podium. I know I raced him early in the race, and it was really hard to pass. We had pretty close speed, so I was like, man, I might not get a podium, but whatever. And then the caution come out, and I was like, I really think pitting's the call here, but it depends on how many stay out, and I don't think you can afford to take 4 with how loose it is on cold tires. You just can't put the power down. So I took 2, and I know Martin took 2, and I think Dean took 2 also. And I was like, I need both laps. And then when John took the top, I was like, this is probably best case scenario I could possibly get, because I know I'll get the initial launch. When I was like, I can't lose too much ground for the attempts to come on the right side tires. Just digging as hard as I could. And I think John may have scraped the wall a little bit in 1 and 2, and I got close, but I mean, I had that hung out. I probably couldn't fit much between my right rear and the wall, and got a hell of a run down the backstretch. Kind of knocked, I think it might have been Byron, gave him a little shot in the right rear to clear up my entry into 3. I knew John was probably going to take the top. That's what I was betting on, and I was hoping I was going to have enough room to throw it in the middle, and I did. I got it slowed down and rotated, and it stuck, and yeah, the rest is history. I just couldn't quite believe it worked out.
All right, and well, before we let you go, anybody you want to thank for tonight's performance?
Yeah, I'm everyone here at Hello Kitty Racing, and my little side ship I have there, Susie Motorsports. Was a pretty rough night for everyone besides myself. We had some teammate on teammate action, unfortunately. That'll be addressed. And then a couple of the other guys got caught up in some real bad luck over some of the dumb stuff that was happening in this race. So hopefully those issues will be handled by the league admins, and actions taken to try to not let that stuff happen again. But I'll leave it in their hands to I'm gonna say they, like I'm not a part of the admin team, but you know what I mean. And it's gonna be a lot of conversation going on how to proceed with that. And I want to commend everyone for like the first 28 laps. That was really cool, clean. Everyone was doing their thing, and then it kind of went downhill from there, unfortunately. But thank you all for putting on the broadcast. I hope we had a really exciting finish. I know the mid part of the race wasn't so much fun, having too many cautions. I had some drama there with a couple of cars and then tent wrecking and stuff. So stay tuned for those finds. And yeah, well, I think we're off next week. So hopefully I get to talk to you again in 2 weeks.
All right. Well, thank you. You enjoy the rest of your night and your win, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
All right. Appreciate it.
Yep, that was the 81 of Joshua Associate, your winner for tonight's race, the Homestead 200. And Ryan, any kind of thoughts on closing thoughts? We heard some candidness from Hagen there, and some good information there from Josh.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't think I've ever heard a driver so disappointed to finish third in my life, but that's just the standards that John Hagen has. I mean, he's out there to win, and it didn't work out for him. And he was, that last restart, he was just in a bad spot because, again, like we talked about during during the pit stops, whatever he does, everyone's going to do the opposite. So tough spot for him to be in. I know he was frustrated, and we've all been there. I mean, we saw the 13 get frustrated and make some questionable calls tonight as well. The 25, kind of let it get to his head and caused a big crash on that restart as well. So just overall, I mean, they had a really good start to the race. 28, 29 laps of green flag racing, and then kind of like Sosi said, it kind of went downhill from there, but finished out strong and had a really, really good finish. I mean, that was a blast to watch, having, two cars that had 20 plus lap old tires, and then everyone else trying to catch them and pass them. So a great finish and a great race. And, just Homestead's a great track and definitely put on a show tonight.
Of course, and let's take a look at the results for tonight's race. Joshua Sosi coming home with the W here, his second of the season. Martin Roberg coming home second. John Hagan in third. Lilac Zier fourth. Byron Jones fifth. Rance Lewin sixth. Dean Clavitt seventh. Casey Ellis eighth. DJ Trout 9th, Greg Pillar 10th. The 11th place is Christopher Pannell, the 28 of Lane Myers in 12th. Pacey Wygent 13th, the 92 of Austin Mongold in 14th. Stephen Oberstat in 15th, Kyler McCarthy 16th, Dale Markowski 17th. Lily Peltier Sharp 18th, Bobby Blowers 19th, Jimmy Mensch 20th. The 21st is Colin Flynn. 22nd, Caleb Carter. 23rd, Tyler Rush. 25, David Smeal Jr. 26, Jaden Bingaman. The 27th is Justin Gibbs. Richard Odie in 28th. Blake Henderson in 29th. 30th belongs to Lily Frazier. 31st to Carmen Sienna. 32nd, Cecilina Thompson. Connor Morrison 33rd. Then Rodney Ayers in 34th. Those are the results from the Homestead 200. It was a great race, at least for the opening part of it. A few cautions in the end part of it, and then a great finish to cap it all off here at Homestead. We're off next week here in the HTL Hammered Down Truck Series, but we will be back the week after that at the Iowa Speedway, going short track racing. And that's going to do it for us here tonight at ABN Esports. My name is Eli Sasak. I was joined tonight by Ryan Pannell and our producer, Strix Pulsatrix. That was the Homestead 200. And from all of us here at ABN, we hope you have a good rest of your night and a good 2 weeks.